Hi friends, my name is Molly. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about splits and flexibility. I'm going to be sharing my favorite drills that help me achieve flexibility and splits, as well as my tips that help me throughout this journey. And in the end, I'm going to also share some resources like YouTube videos, YouTube classes that help me to develop a perfect flexibility routine that eventually help me achieve splits. So if you're someone who is struggling with flexibility or your goal is to achieve splits, this video is for you. So get your socks off, get your mat out, and let's get into the drills. First, I'm starting off with some high lunges. Front knee 90 degrees, back leg strong, glutes are engaged, core is engaged. Hands overhead, you can also hold them at your hips if that's more comfortable at first. And then we're getting into some low lunges. I really like low lunges. Your front heel under your knee, straight under your knee, back leg strong, glutes are engaged, core is engaged, and you reach up or place your hands on your hips. From there, when you have space, I really like to hold my back foot and pull it towards me to give myself an extra stretch. And sometimes I also play with some back bends. But don't forget to engage your core when you do that so you don't injure your lower back. After the low lunges, I really enjoy transitioning into half splits. Front leg straight, toes pointed towards you, front hip back and back hip forward, so your hips are squared, and you can feel how the stretch is getting more intense when you push that front hip back actively. Maybe you can start with the blocks, and after that you can slowly go lower and lower. Try to fold from the hips, don't round your back. I really like implementing low lunges with some half splits motions, but guided by my breath. For example, I do a high lunge on the breath in and breath out, half split, and I keep doing it several times. You can also do it with the longer holds. I sometimes prefer it with longer holds too. After that, I'm doing some hand to toe stretches. I am lying on my back, point your toes towards you, putting my leg over me. You can use a strap like I'm doing here, so you help yourself at first, and then slowly you can bring it towards yourself. Of course, forward folds, you can use a strap to help yourself as well. Point your toes towards you, try to bend from the hips. Do not round your back like I do here. You can maybe start with holding your knees and eventually you can get deeper and deeper. You also can use a strap if you have one on you, or you can use a belt too. If your hamstrings are very tight, you can use a blanket under your hips to help yourself sit up straight, and this is a good start. Pigeon pose, I'm bringing my knee to my wrist. My shin is parallel to me. It's very hard to keep it parallel, to be honest, so I kind of bring my foot a bit more in. Put most of your weight on the back leg. I like to go down to relax in this pose a bit more and release my hip. Just remember to actively lean onto your back leg. When you have a bit more space, I like to pull my foot towards me and get more of a stretch. Don't forget to engage your core while being up straight, just because it helps to not overstress your lower back. You can also use a blanket under your hips to help yourself to sink into it when you have a lot of space. I like doing some lizards. From the down dog, I bring my foot between my hands and then I walk it on the outside of the mat. I like to roll my foot on the outside, so I kind of open up my hip a bit more, and you can stay on your outstretched arms. I like to bounce in it a bit, just like warm up my hip, or you can go down on your elbows to get a little bit deeper. And yes, I really enjoyed this stretch. I love happy baby pose. It's honestly one of the most relaxing things. Grab outsides of your feet and bring your knees into your armpits. You can stay in it, or you can just roll and kind of get deeper on each side as you roll. Keep your lower back glued to the mat so your back is elongated. And you can see babies doing it all the time. It's a very natural posture for humans, and I really enjoy doing it in the morning, before I sleep, any time of the day. Honestly, it's really calming. It is very awkward when someone walks on you doing this posture, but it's okay. If they know, they know. Let's get into the splits. First set of splits, I really like using props like a blanket to sink into and blocks to get myself a little bit higher. I never really get into a full split from the first time. I need a couple of sets of splits to get into a full split. But yeah, I really enjoy it, and I stay there for a few breaths. When you're not there yet, I suggest you really use the blanket and really sink into it and let your muscles get used to it and relax into a deeper state. Never push yourself. If you feel any pain, get out of it. And after that, I really really like to use some gliders. They help me slide a bit easier, and you can use socks on the smooth floors. Also guys, let me know if you want me to upload a full YouTube class with my flexibility routine so you can practice along with it. Whew, those are my drills. And now I'm going to get into tips. Definitely applies those tips if you want to have a safe flexibility journey. So one of the first things, warm up before you're stretching. You need to have a warmed up body, warmed up muscles. You can't just get into the stretches out of nowhere, and this is not effective at all. You have much more potential to stretch out your muscles to get into the postures once your body is warmed up. So keep that in mind. I'm going to share some classes later that warm you up, or I like to do some sun salutations, A, B. I'll link some under the videos. It's way easier to stretch a muscle if it's been engaged first. If you just stretch your muscle out of nowhere, it's going to protect itself. It's going to contract, so you can't stretch it because it's trying to protect itself from overstretching. You engage this muscle first. You sort of tire them out. So when you do get into the stretch, there's a natural reflex of the muscle to relax because it's been contracted. It's been activated for so long. Now it's just natural for it to let go and relax of that tension. So engage your muscles first before you stretch them out. I can definitely feel that after a good strong flow, stretching is way easier. The next tip would be breath. Breath is so important. This is really what guides you deeper into your stretch. And one of my favorite things about my flexibility routine, that I get to really connect with myself through being aware of my breath and how my breath connects to the muscle I'm stretching. As I breathe in, I imagine that I create more space in the part of the body that I'm trying to stretch. And as I breathe out, I let go of the tension. And it really does happen when I'm stretching. So I think breath is a very, very powerful tool that shouldn't be underestimated. And that's something I neglected at first, but thankfully, watching a lot of YouTube classes, teachers were bringing my attention to the breath, and it makes the process so joyful because you're really having like a very intimate time with yourself where you're just paying attention to what's going on in your body and how it feels. And I feel like this is something we rarely do nowadays, and it's nice to have those moments to yourself. Next one would be props. Don't neglect the props. I showed you some ways you can use blocks, you can use books if you don't have blocks. Straps are very, very useful as well. You can use a belt, you can use anything, honestly, be creative. It's very nice to use blankets as well. Pillows, maybe instead of blankets, really helped me in the beginning with splits because it really helps me to sink into the blanket and fully relax my muscles into that state of the stretch without stressing them that there is so much space to go into and I have to kind of keep them engaged. I can really relax them. Pillows, blankets, whatever soft you can use, so useful. And they're going to help you get where you want faster, more effectively, and safely. So, props. When the biggest change happened in my flexibility is when I let go of doing the splits every time and I just concentrated on my flexibility routine, on doing those drills that I showed you earlier and enjoying it. With this point, I want to communicate that it's not important to do splits right away, especially if it's not comfortable for you yet. Just start with drills. Start with involving flexibility into your lifestyle. Start doing it every day and splits will come. So this is just something that I would recommend you do if you're not like super close to the splits. And another point that I already kind of brushed over and I want to stress it a bit more. It had such a big influence on my flexibility journey because my journey was very bumpy, and it's making the stretches and making flexibility part of your lifestyle. I think that's the only way you can achieve splits eventually, is to be consistent with your practice, be consistent with flexibility. And the only way you can be consistent with your flexibility is if you enjoy it. So you have to learn, enjoy it, you have to learn to respect your practice, you have to learn to be present in your practice. If you're truly there, spending time with your body and feeling how it feels, you are going to enjoy it. I understand there's this beautiful goal of doing splits, and I had that too, this aesthetic goal of being sexy, being cool by doing splits, but that's not what takes you there. What takes you there is appreciation for the practice, appreciation for your body, and making the flexibility part of your lifestyle, enjoying it, and sort of forgetting about your goal of splits and concentrating on the goal of practicing every day. So yes, and in the end, I just want to share some resources that help me to achieve splits. I really like doing moon salutations. So sun salutations are meant to greet the day, to wake up and bring energy into your body, and moon salutations are meant to calm you down. And this is also like a series of postures that honestly has all of the split flexibility postures in the moon salutations. I'm gonna also leave a link to what they are, maybe a YouTube video doing them, and this is something that I really like practicing in the evening. I will also leave a few classes that go over the whole process of warming up for splits, doing the drills and doing the splits themselves, to just have understanding how you can develop your own practice, just to see what other people are doing. This is just useful, and I feel like once you watch enough classes enough times, you can do it on your own and add elements that you like, just because you have enough understanding of what works for you and what you enjoy. So I suggest you watch some classes first, maybe YouTube classes or with a teacher online or in person, whatever works for you. I will leave a few videos that I personally watched when I first started and that helped me. Start slow. Please don't compare yourself to anyone, to any expectations of the time frame that you're supposed to have to achieve splits. I also made a video before about the mindset that helped me to achieve splits. Yes, I wish you all the best of luck. Enjoy it. I'm so excited for you, and let me know how it goes, and let me know if you have any questions about any drills or anything else in general. It was nice connecting with you guys as always, and I hope to talk more in the comments. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.